In many of the traditional teachings of our people and the information that is shared with me by the people that know these things, either because they know the ceremonies and that are conducted, songs, prayers, and the whole ceremony. And so I've had the opportunity to ask questions of these people that have extensive knowledge about some of these ceremonies and that. And I've had the opportunity to ask about the universe. The universe is referred to as Yatatkith. Yatatkith is out there. And one of the things that I was told is that Yatatkith is that we say it is, in reference, we say it is dark. But what they say is that it is dark turquoise. That all life into this world, into the yellow world, comes from the blue or the turquoise. And so it is that the teaching is that the universe is really a dark turquoise. And the way that that is explained, of course, is mentioned in some of the songs and prayers of ceremonies and so on. And it is that Yatatkith, and the translation would mean dark turquoise. And so the other things in that, I ask about the stars and the other thing that are out there in the night sky. And just in fact, just very recently, I asked about the comets. And they say, is the stars that pass us with the tails, is how they mention it. And they say, they come around. We can see them in the night sky, but say the stars that have tails, and that is the way they refer to it. Sometimes they say, is to say that it is sometimes appears as a head, where it has a round part of the head, and then it has the ears and that come off of the backside. And so it's not only a tail, it is that it has ears. Or it might even be that it has horns. But the is the ways that I've heard it mentioned. But those are the things of the teachings about the comet, is that they come around every so often. And they never really identify how often they come around, but they say, is that they do pass us by and pass us in the night sky. And then I ask about some of the stars and that. And they have the understanding. Is that they understand that some of these stars are really planets or worlds. And they say that it is up there in the heavens, just like we are here on this earth. And so they understand that. And the teachings are such that they say that they say there are 12 planets in this particular solar system that we are in. And so they say, and so I've always wondered, how do they know these things? And they never really explained to me how it is that some of these teachings were made available to them. And I was never able to find out. And they knew these things. And they say that in other words, they say that the planets and that rotate or revolve around the sun in a clockwise direction. Shabak is to say that in the way that the solar system rotates. Nahines is what they say sometimes, like they say the spiral. The spiral is so very important to understand, because it is that they say that all the spirals that we might recognize is that it is the continual growth direction. Is to say that the universe is based on the idea of continual growth. And so the teachings that are shared with us that are really curious about some of these things, most of those old people are gone. And we don't have very many of our people that understand that our old people had tremendous knowledge of the various things of the universe. And I had occasion one time to ask my great-grandfather, who was blind in his old age. He probably was in his 90s and that. And when he couldn't see anymore, him and I would share a sweat lodge. And I was very young, and he, because of his blindness, he thought I was a lot older than what I was. I was probably only maybe 10 or 11, and he would share some of these profound things with me. And I remember just a small portion of maybe some of the things that he told me. And so those things are lost now. And the only way that I can understand the things that my great-grandfather was trying to tell me is now when I look into the things of science. The idea that there's no such thing as having something come into existence from nothing. Is to tell me that all things have always existed in some form, and that they will exist here in a certain form, and they will pass on and to become another form. And so I can acquaint that with matter. There is no such thing as this matter coming into existence, that it has always been, and it is right now, and it will continue to be in the future. And so, thinking of those things in a scientific term, there are certain things that will always be energy. Energy is another thing. The idea that energy is always there. It can stop and be held in a hand in the form of seeds or some other type of form that is stable. And then after the growth process takes place, then it becomes a source of energy. It's the same, it's like with food. We have the vegetation or the animals or various foods and that we eat turns to energy. Once removed, that energy is then scattered throughout. And so even the movement that we do, that energy is still drifting away from us because of our motion, and it's collected again in some form somewhere. So it is, the energy is always there. And there are other things than that when I start thinking about it in scientific terms, is that there is positive and there is negative, and the old people understood that. In other words, there are no such thing as, they are actually absolute difference between positive and negative. They have to be there to become evident of one or the other. And so it is that today we have a study of matter and antimatter. And so these things are very important to understand. And I can't never understand all of it. There's no way. I don't make a study of those things. I just try to have to understand some of the things that the old people shared with us. The universe is there, but we are to concern ourselves with the things that are here on the surface of Mother Earth, to understand how to live life, to be able to enjoy life, and to have happiness in life, to have confidence in our existence, and most of all, to have peace in our spirit, in our mind, in our hearts, and in our physical self and a physical environment. And those are the things that we're told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.